arrogated to itself the astonishing prerogative of correcting God in this respect, for wherever possible it continued to impose celibacy, a practice resulting in an alarming number of neurotics. In the mysteries, celibacy is reserved for those who have reached a certain degree of spiritual unfoldment. When advocated for the mass of unenlightened humanity, however, it becomes a dangerous heresy, fatal alike to both religion and philosophy. As Christendom in its fanaticism has blamed every individual Jew for the crucifixion of Jesus, so with equal consistency it has maligned every member of the feminine sex. In vindication of philosophy claims that the allegory signifies merely that man is tempted by his emotions to depart from the sure path of reason. Many of the early Church Fathers sought to establish a direct relationship between Adam and Christ, thereby obviously discounting the extremely sinful nature of man's common ancestor, since it is quite certain that when St. Augustine likens Adam to Christ and Eve to the Church he does not intend to brand the latter institution as the direct cause of the fall of man. For some inexplicable reason, however, religion has ever regarded intellectualism, in fact every form of knowledge, as fatal to man's spiritual growth. The Inraditine friars are an outstanding example of this attitude. In this ritualistic drama, possibly derived from the Egyptians, Adam, banished from the Garden of Eden, represents man philosophically exiled from the sphere of truth. Through ignorance man falls. Through wisdom he redeems himself. The Garden of Eden represents the house of the mysteries. See the vision of Enoch, in the midst of which grew both the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Man, the banished Adam, seeks to pass from the outer court of the sanctuary, the exterior universe, into the sanctum sanctorum, but before him rises a vast creature armed with a flashing sword that, moving slowly but continually, sweeps clear a wide circle, and through this ring pass not the Adamic man cannot break. The cherubim address the seeker thus: Man, thou art dust, and to dust thou shalt return. Thou wert fashioned by the builder of forms. Thou belongest to the sphere of form, and the breath that was breathed into thy soul was the breath of form, and like a flame it shall flicker out. More than thou art thou canst not be. Thou art a denizen of the outer world, and it is forbidden thee to enter this inner place. And the Adam replies: Many times have I stood within this courtyard and begged admission to my Father's house, and thou hast refused it me and sent me back to wander in darkness. True it is that I was fashioned out of the dirt, and that my Maker could not confer upon me the boon of immortality. But no more shalt thou send me away. For, wandering in the darkness, I have discovered that the Almighty hath decreed my salvation, because he hath sent out of the most hidden mystery his only begotten, who didst take upon himself the world fashioned by the Demiurgus. Upon the elements of that world was he crucified, and from him hath poured forth the blood of my salvation. And God, entering into his creation, hath quickened it and established therein a road that leadeth to himself. While my Maker could not give me immortality, immortality was inherent in the very dust of which I was composed, for before the world was fabricated and before the Demiurgus became the regent of nature, the eternal life had impressed itself upon the face of cosmos. This is its sign, the cross. Do you now deny me in trance, I who have at last learned the mystery of myself? And the voice replies: He who is aware, is. Behold! Gazing about him, Adam finds himself in a radiant place, in the midst of which stands a tree with flashing jewels for fruit, and entwined about its trunk a flaming, winged serpent crowned with a diadem of stars. It was the voice of the serpent that had spoken. Who art thou? Demands the Adam. I, the serpent answers, am Satan who was stoned. I am the adversary, the Lord who is against you, the one who pleads for your destruction before the eternal tribunal. I was your enemy upon the day that you were formed. I have led you into temptation. I have delivered you into the hands of evil. I have maligned you. I have striven ever to achieve your undoing. I am the guardian of the tree of knowledge, and I have sworn that none whom I can lead astray shall partake of its fruits. The Adam replies: For uncounted ages have I been thy servant. In my ignorance I listened to thy words, and they led me into paths of sorrow. Thou hast placed in my mind dreams of power, and when I struggled to realize those dreams they brought me naught but pain. Thou hast sowed in me the seeds of desire, and when I lusted after the things of the flesh, agony was my only recompense. Thou hast sent me false prophets and false reasoning, and when I strove to grasp the magnitude of truth I found thy laws were false and only dismay rewarded my strivings. I am done with thee forever, O artful spirit. I have tired of thy world of illusions. No longer will I labor in thy vineyards of iniquity. Get thee behind me, Rempter, and the host of thy temptations. There is no happiness, no peace, no good, no future in the doctrines of selfishness, hate, and passion preached by thee. All these things do I cast aside. Renounced is thy rule forever. And the serpent makes answer, Behold, O Adam, the nature of thy adversary. The serpent disappears in a blinding sunburst of radiance, and in its place stands an angel resplendent in shining, golden garments with great scarlet wings that spread from one corner of the heavens to the other. Dismayed and awestruck, the Adam falls before the divine creature. I am the Lord who is against thee and thus accomplishes thy salvation, continues the voice. Thou hast hated me, but through the ages yet to be thou shalt bless me, for I have led thee out of the sphere of the demiurgus. I have turned thee against the illusion of worldliness. I have weaned thee of desire. I have awakened in thy soul the immortality of which I myself partake. Follow me, O Adam, for I am the way, the life, and the truth. Insert. Noah and his zodiacal ark. From Meyer's Kabbalah. The early church father, notably Tertullian, Firmilian, Saint Cyprian, Saint Augustine, and Saint Chrysostom, recognized in the ark a type or symbol of the Holy Catholic Church. Bede the Venerable declared that Noah in all things typified Christ, as Noah alone of his generation was just, so Christ alone was without sin. With Christ there was a sevenfold spirit of grace, with Noah 7 righteous persons. Noah by water and wood saved his own family, Christ by baptism and the cross saves Christians. The ark was built of wood that did not decay. The Church is composed of men who will live forever, for this ark means the Church which floats upon the waves of the world. The diagram shown above is also reproduced in the Rosicrucians, by Hargreave Jennings. This author adds to the original diagram appearing in Antiquitatum Judicarum Library 9th the signs of the zodiac, placing Aries at the head and continuing in sequential order to Leo, which occupies the 5th cross-section of the ark. Jennings assigns the panel containing the door to the undivided constellation of Virgo Libra Scorpio, which is continued into the first subdivision of the 2nd section, and the remaining 4 crest sections to the constellations of Sagittarius to Pisces inclusive. A study of the plate discloses the ark to be divided into 11 main sections, and along the base and roof of each section are shown 3 subdivisions, thus making in all the sacred number 33. Occupying the position corresponding to the generative system of the human body will also be noted the cross upon the door of the central section. 2 openings are shown in the ark. 1, the main door representing the orifice through which the animal lives descend into physical existence. The other a small window proximate to the crown of the head through which the spirit gains liberty according to the ancient rites. When the androgenic Scorpio-Virgo was separated in the balance or harmony made from Scorpio, and placed between Scorpio, that is, male, and Virgo, that is, female, then appeared the 32 constellations or signs, as we now have them. The ark is 3 stories high, perhaps to symbolize heaven, man, earth. In the figure of the man, notice the parting of the hair in the middle of the forehead and the arrangement of the beard, whiskers, mustache and the hair, on the back of the neck and shoulders. See the Kabbalah by Isaac Meyer. Continued. An analysis of tarot cards. Opinions of authorities differ widely concerning the origin of playing cards, the purpose for which they were intended, and the time of their introduction into Europe. In his researches into the history of playing cards, Samuel Weller Singer advances the opinion that cards reached southern Europe from India by way of Arabia. It is probable that the tarot cards were part of the magical and philosophical lore secured by the Knights Templars from the Saracens, or one of the mystical sects then flourishing in Syria. Returning to Europe, the Templars, to avoid persecution, concealed the arcane meaning of the symbols by introducing the leaves of their magical book ostensibly as a device for amusement and gambling. In support of this contention, Mrs. John King Van Rensselaer states that cards were brought by the home returning warriors, who imported many of the newly acquired